Hello, welcome to the channel. Sprinkle, sprinkle, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great today. So I thought I would do a little video about all the books that I'll be reading this fall. I have quite a collection right now, so I wanted to share them with y'all, and they all are going to be linked below, um, or you can get them all here. They're all on that one link. So I'll just pin that one to the top. So I finally finished the Cuthulu Casebooks and the Shadwell Shados. It's a Sherlock Holmes book, and it's by James Lovegrove. I really like the style of the writer, and the whole Sherlock Holmes book series is quite good, but very funny, has funny parts in it, very much a lot of satire, humor, and wit in this one, as well as a little bit of Lovecraftian type of, feel to it with the Cthulhu and all. And I really like the writer who writes this style. It's like a humorous, intelligent, quick-witted style, and this book reads so fast because it's full of action that I finished it faster than I thought I would. So um really good book. So if y'all can get this one, it is linked at that point. I also was going to get the other books that the writer wrote for this series. I haven't gotten them yet, so when I do, I will let y'all know. But so here are the books that I'm going to be reading this autumn. Some of them are spiritual, some of them are fiction. And that's why I wanted to mix it up, because I don't like just reading all spiritual and all fiction anymore. I wanted to mix it up because I usually read all like spiritual books that are nonfiction, and it was not a good balance, so to say, because I need my imagination to be also stimulated. So let's go into one of the spiritual books that I'm reading, since we just did a fictional book. How are y'all today? Okay, so I picked this book up, The Secret Language of Signs. Y'all know that's right up my alley. And this one is by Denise Lynn, author of Sacred Space. And it is linked at the link that's pinned at the top of all the live comments. All these books will be in that link. So I started reading this book, and it is about like signs and symbols that you see, how the universe speaks to us, whether we should follow them or not, or how we feel about them. And I have not finished reading it. I just kind of started it. But I also feel this book shows you how to read the symbols. There's like definitions, and not definitions, but like what certain symbols mean to kind of decode life that's happening around you, and decode the symbols that are happening around you, so that you can better coordinate and direct your life. And it's kind of like you're living in a dream that you're interpreting while you're living it. So that's kind of what that book is about. I like my little mug. I got a little fall sweater on my mug. It was like 60 something degrees this morning, so I say it's time for the sweaters. Yes. And so when I finish reading this, I will definitely do a review on it. But like I said, I don't base 100% of my beliefs on any one particular, belief system. So I kind of just read these books and just get the knowledge of them, and then do with it what I need to, when I need to do anything with any type of knowledge. Okay. So I just want to make that clear. Just because I read something does not mean that I 100% believe in it. Because I think a lot of people mistake when people read stuff that it's an automatic belief. No, I read stuff just to read it and get a feel for it. And if it sounds good, maybe I'll adopt it into whatever I'm, thinking about at the time. So I think that's how it all should be done. I don't think there should be any type of fixed belief system that does not serve you when necessary. Okay. So that book, I'm definitely going to get into that. It looks like an easy read. Uh, of course, I went and picked up the Sherlock Holmes collection. I got this at Books a Million, and it has all the original old tales in there. The writing's very small. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get my bifocals. I have to order some new glasses. Okay, I'm getting up there. Have y'all have y'all ever read a book with small print and made you feel old, like you need some like magnifying reading glasses or something? So I I ordered some glasses so I could read this book because the print is so small, but it has to be small because of all the stories that are in there. They had to condense a lot of the stories, and it was on sale in the bargain price section for only $12. So it's a really nice hardcover book design, and it was very well worth it. Haven't read all the Sherlock stories, but I will be reading them because I like mystery. I just discovered I like mystery stories, especially with someone witty and sarcastic as the main character. So, yes. Thank you, so I look cute. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Let me pause for a second and talk to y'all, and I'll get through the other few books. I am drinking my pumpkin chai tea, as y'all can see. I got it at the Spice and Tea Exchange. It was a loose tea, and I always buy that every year, and it's so good. It has like chunks of pumpkin in it and all this chai and different spices. Okay. Yes, my teacup is ready for fall. Actually, y'all, don't laugh. I have a Scooby-Doo. I have a Scooby-Doo like ringtone because it makes me laugh. Okay, so it's the little thing. It's the little thing. I have a Scooby-Doo ringtone, or when someone texts me, and it always makes me laugh. So if y'all want to hear the Scooby-Doo, y'all gotta cash at me. And y'all don't have to. I'm just joking. But if y'all just want to hear it and see, here, cash app. All right. All right. So there is this really good book that I found in the bargain section as well, and this is also linked in the link at the top of the live comments. Strange Frequencies by Peter Berbigall, author of Season of the Witch. Okay, so this goes into science, magic, frequencies, all the stuff that I'm into. Like, what? Did I just find a book that spoke my language? And it has a little freaky stuff in it too. Look at that. I'm like, what? Whoever wrote this was very strange and interesting and scientific, and they're into magic and all that stuff too. That's like very interesting. So this book, I already like, it's a page turner already, and it was only $5.97 because like, how many people are gonna literally pick up a book called Strange Frequencies? Not many. Everybody wants romance. Everybody wants mystery. Everybody wants like Harry Potter witchy stuff. This is where the real magic is. This is where the real, spells and magic and manifesting occurs. And the frequency, the plasma, y'all. I'm trying to take this bookmark off. This sticker off. Yes. And like before y'all clicked on the video, I really would appreciate if y'all read the title. Somebody's asking silly questions. So yes, this book I highly recommend because it shows you how the supernatural, frequencies, magic, witchcraft, and all that actually go together and what it really is. Like, a long time ago on this channel, I would talk about energy frequencies, electromagnetic waves and all this kind of stuff, the plasma, and like now it's pretty much what it is. Okay. So definitely get this book if you are more interested in that type of supernatural magic technology. And also get my book, How to Ma- How to Manifest with Magic and Dark Cosmic Energy. It's kind of the very same technique, but this also has spells. There's and this is on Amazon as well. So definitely, this one is very easy to understand, written in layman's terms for anyone. So that one is definitely something y'all probably already bought. So thank you. But if you haven't bought it, definitely get that book as well. Ha ha ha. And I really have been wanting to talk more about the plasma, electricity, frequencies, the 5G, and all this technology that's whirling around us, making a lot of things possible that may not have been possible before. And I really want to talk about that, but I don't know if you guys want to revisit that, or a lot of you guys are new. Do y'all want to discuss that in future videos? Let me know in the comments. You do? Okay. Great. Because I'll have a lot to talk about when I'm finished reading this book. And I'll probably make sure I dedicate a whole video to that book review and talk about what I think about the plasma and all that kind of stuff. I feel like a lot of the answers to the questions that we ask, turn on some light, is the plasma. Like the plasma is pretty much everything. The plasma is what makes everything go. I'll just say that. It's like the energy that makes everything go. The way knowledge and information is transferred in every way. I'll just say that. Okay. Also, I have a little tip for you guys. Okay, some of y'all like the smell of old books and things like that. I do. I really like the smell of old books. But if you don't, I have a little tip. Get you some perfume or an incense, or whatever. Or some type of spray, and get a bookmark and like made out of like paper, but not like the glossy kind. And spray your bookmark, or maybe burn incense and like weave your bookmark through it, or put some essential oils on it, let it dry because you don't want that in the book, and then place it in your book. And maybe choose a scent that makes you want to read, or makes you want to get cozy, or make you want to, like expand your mind. And whenever you open your book, that scent will take you there and you'll want to read more. So that's just one of my little tips. All right, next book. Okay, so the Sherlock Holmes series. There was another book that was in a bargain section, and it has Sherlock Holmes and all the characters in there, but this is from the perspective of two women. I think one of them's a medium and a psychic, and one of them's a psychic, and they're helping Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson solve a case. And also has a necromancer in it. So if you like necromancy, if you like psychics and mediums and Sherlock Holmes, the book is called The Bartered Brides by Mercedes Lackey. So this book I have only started reading the first couple pages, and I was very spoiled. I was very spoiled by the James Lovegrove, the Cuthulu Casebooks, because he's actually English. So he writes in the more English style. And Mercedes Lackey is actually American, I believe. And she writes more of an American style writing. So the vocabulary is very different in these books. This has more of the British slang, and this has more of just regular English. So I kind of want to wait until I get that book out of my system before I start this one, because I got spoiled. All right. And the last book, actually it's not the last book. I found this at the thrift store actually, and I didn't locate this one on Amazon, so you're gonna have to like find this yourself. It's called The 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. And I'm going to read the back because this is what got me to buy the book. It says, "My gripe is not with lovers of the truth, but with truth herself. What succor and consolation is in truth compared to a story? What good is truth at midnight in the dark, when the wind is roaring like a bear in the chimney? What you need are the plump comforts of the story, a soothing, rocking safety of all." Okay, so it's called The 13th Tale. And I liked it because it's like saying, we don't want the truth. We want a story. We want a story. Like, what's the truth going to do for us? Give us a little story. So it says, when Margaret Lee opened the door to the past, what she confronted was her destiny. So, I'll let y'all know what this is. It's fiction. So this is when I'm, kind of needing a break from the spiritual books. I switched to a fiction book, and that's how you keep the balance in learning and reading. And like this book says on the back, what good is the truth if there's no story? So this book definitely is going to be read this autumn. I kind of want to keep this in my car, so when I'm waiting in line to pick up the kids, I'll definitely just read this because I'm in the car quite a while, so I'm definitely going to get that one read. And then last but not least, Caraval. Okay, and it's by Stephanie Garber. It's a New York Times bestseller. I bought this book and I didn't even know I bought it because I ordered a blind date with a book on Etsy. There's this Etsy website called, hold on, I should have linked it. I will later, but it's called Green Pact Alchemy. Green Pact, 2 words, Alchemy. And they sell like bath and body products as well as like candles. And then they also have a blind date with a book. And then they also have a blind date with a book with gifts that go with the book. So she sent me some soaps, some massage lotion called Garden of Prosper Pine. Sorry. And then we have some Hades soap. And it's, we got some Hades soap. Kind of smells like pine. It's interesting. And then we have Persephone soap. It's like literary, dark academia type names for her products, which is really clever. And this Garden of Persephone massage lotion, I hope I'm saying that right, has jasmine, bergamot, and red poppy. So not only did I get a book, and I also got some Love Potion bath salts. It comes in this little cute glass bottle that she sent me. I have it up here for decoration. And the book was wrapped really cute in like this paper. And it was like tied with twine and everything. So like that's kind of how it was like a blind date because you don't see the title of the book when you open it. And I did a little video opening it for my other channel, but this was the book that was in there. So Caraval is about 2 sisters who want to go to this carnival and they can never go because their father is kind of like mean and abusive and it has like a map in there and won't let them go. And finally, they write to the carnival owner asking them to come to their town because they can't go travel. They can't leave the island where they're from. And so finally, the carnival master answers back and goes to their little town. And one of the sisters end up missing at the carnival. And so there's like a little quest to go find her or whatever. And then there's also a romance in here with someone that she meets. So this sounds very much like I don't want to say it sounds just like the Dungeons and Dragons, which like carnival role play game, but it seems very close to it, which is basically if you if you play that game by yourself, basically what you're going to do is literally write a book anyway, because of all the stuff that you have to write down and the characters you have to, put in there and play. So basically, it's kind of like the role play game, which like Carnival from Dungeons and Dragons, but probably a lot different with a lot more, storyline to it. So something that I would definitely read and see if I like it. Okay, you got my book, How to Manifest with Magic. Oh, thank you so much. I hope you like it. I say you do. Okay, you love it. All right. Yes. I appreciate y'all for buying my books. Like I really do. And even if you've already read my books, even you buy the books that I recommend, that way, if you don't know what to read, just pick one of those books out of my list. And are there any genres that I don't read? I don't know. I tend not to read too much about religion unless it's in or a part of some of my other books, like spiritual books or occult books or anything. But I tend not to read like religious texts unless I'm decoding them in some sort of way. And usually I just like take a piece or a passage or, an excerpt from online somewhere, but I don't really read those types of books. So I don't really read religious genre books. What made me choose some of these books? The titles, and I just kind of realized that I like mystery books, and I also realized that when I read a mixture of spiritual and fictional books, I tend to, I don't know, feel more, I guess, well-rounded. It also keeps me from watching too much TV or spending too much time online or whatnot. What books do I recommend to learn more about the tarot card and occultism associated? Any tarot card book. I mean, honestly, that's something I used to do a while ago, and so I have not picked up any books on tarot in years because, like, I've been there and done that. But any tarot card book basically will tell you. Just if you learn symbolism, you can read tarot. But I don't know. I won't be reading any tarot books anytime soon because I've already read a lot of them. And once you read one, you read them all, basically. Okay, but yes. Well, thanks for being a member, Johnny Sprinkle Sprinkle. Okay, so do y'all have any questions about any of these books that I mentioned, or do y'all have any book recommendations? What are y'all reading? How's my ghost hunting? I'm trying to wait till it gets cooler because, but I did get a case for it. All my little supplies. Thank you for asking. So here's my ghost hunting case. Y'all know I had to be cute when I went out there. How you doing? All right, so let me show y'all what's in. Here's my ghost hunting case, but I call it ghost detecting because, like, I don't hunt. So here's my ghost hunting or ghost detecting case. So here we have the EMF reader, the body cam, the electric digital recorder. We have the spirit box. We have some headphones in there to listen to the recordings or whatnot. And then we have some chargers. And this is like a body cam you can attach to your clothing, so you can be hands-free when you're using some of these tools. And so this is my little ghost hunting or ghost detecting kit I put together myself. I got all this stuff on Amazon, and a lot of this stuff is also linked in that link at the top of the comment section in my spiritual supplies Amazon list. So a lot of this you can get as well. I didn't get the case on Amazon, but they do have cases you can buy. I got this on Poshmark, and I like the color. It's kind of cute. All right. So that's how that's going. I'm waiting for it to get a little bit cooler, and maybe go out on the weekend and do some walking around looking for different places. But it's definitely going. I do have a video where I did pick up some information and some, some words here and there, and I'm working on that vlog right now for y'all. So that'll be coming up soon. The case is off Poshmark. But they do sell those cases similar to that on Amazon. Reading from Babylon to Timbuktu. Okay, history of ancient Black races. Okay. You're reading The Law of Attraction. Okay. Currently reading Thought Power. Okay. There is a couple of more books that I want to get, but I was distracted yesterday at the bookstore, so I have to order it online because my daughter was with me and she was looking for a book too. So, and then we were talking about other stuff, and so it's, unless I go by myself, I'm not gonna find everything I'm looking for. So the next book that I want, it's kind of a spiritual book, kind of. It's called The Secret History of the World. And if y'all have heard of that book, let me know in the comments. It sounds really good. I've been watching like reviews on that book, or like the interviews with the author on that book. And I really want to read it because it sounds so interesting. It's about a lot of the secrets that a lot of the people keep hidden. And it's just kind of like, it goes from the beginning up till now. It has like a lot of conspiracy in there, a lot of the secrets that they keep from the public or whatever. It just gives you a different perspective on how the history really might have gone versus what they told you. So if you're a conspiracy theorist, or if you like just hidden or secret stuff, I think the book would be good for you. I think it was written under two different names because he was a publisher and he wrote under a pseudonym, and then he relaunched the book and put another name. I don't know if that's his real name. Okay. You're reading Astrology of the Matrix. Okay. Your Glamour Magic by Deborah Castagno. Okay. You've been placing your intentions in your beauty and clothing items. That's good. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. This smells witchy. Like if y'all are looking for a witchy scent, and like a lotion, go to Green Pact Alchemy on Etsy and get Garden of Prosper Pine lotion. This is it's massage lotion, jasmine, bergamot, and red poppy. Red poppy. All right, so any books on numerology? I tend not to buy books that I can just like Google the same information on the computer. To me, it's like a waste of my money. The same with like tarot cards and stuff. Like you can just Google that stuff if you need to know pretty much whatever it is about those subjects, because it's so cut and dry, So I tend only to get books that I can't just sit there and Google idea after idea. But simple books like numerology, tarot, and stuff like that, I tend not to buy because I can just Google that stuff or use a chart, you know. Um, am I interested in astrology? I don't really allow the stars to control what I feel and what I think and how I vibrate. So I don't really get into astrology like that. My mentality is more of I control stuff and so only for fun would I say anything about being a Pisces as part of my personality is concerned, but I don't like some people get into astrology like it's their religion or it's a cult or something like that, but I tend to see things a little bit different. Like I am the creator and I create how my life is going to go and it's not based on anything other than what I want it to be. So I don't really get into astrology as fact. I get into it as, something that can be altered. Yeah. And the funny thing is, so many people live their life based on that. And I think if you just try to not live your life based on that for a little while, you see how better it is. Okay. I gotta take my elixir. For you to really see how better it is. Oh, y'all get y'all elixirs too. Sprinkle, sprinkle. That's on my Etsy store. I'll go ahead and link that too. Yeah, just if y'all are like addicted to any type of astrology, try living 1 month without astrology and solely manifesting and using your own intention and things like that into creating the life that you want and see how better your life is. Like literally. You'll see the difference. And I guarantee you'll like it a lot better. Okay, so here's my Etsy store where y'all can get my elixirs. Would I ever use a spirit board again? I have a spirit box. I got a spirit box. I got a spirit board. I got it. I feel like it's okay to use whatever tools that you like to communicate, but some people can communicate naturally. People are natural mediums, and so uh, some need a gateway to attract. But you know, to me, like I was never like they were never taboo to me because it was like something that since childhood, I was pretty much able to get into. Hmm. Uh, you said okay. You got your phase 2 and 3. Okay, you're gonna love phase 2. You better have something to do. You better have a hobby, something to work on. You better have some type of routine that requires a lot of energy and passion because that phase 2 will take you there. Okay, you're gonna be like, what do I do? What do I do? You could get a lot accomplished on phase 2, definitely. So prepare. um, yeah, I tend to like books that kind of are on the same like thing that I am, researching or that I'm really like fond of. So I tend to go for more like science, mystery, and um, symbols. So that's the kind of stuff I like. Hmm. So if it's like has to do with scientific frequencies, symbols, or some type of occult mystery, I'm in it. And magic, I'm in it. But like I don't like is the cheesy magic books. Like everybody try to write a cheesy magic book these days. Like fiction. Anyway, everybody's trying to write the next, Harry Potter series. But everybody's trying to write like all these young adult books where everybody's a witch and kind of stuff like that. So and a lot of it is super cheesy and I can't get into it. So I tend to lean more towards like the occult and like style books. mystery, conspiracy, and um, like frequency stuff. And the only type of magic book I can sort of kind of, stand that's not super corny are, the Alice Hoffman books, who wrote um, Practical Magic. And so these aren't as corny or cheesy as a lot of the stuff that's out now. So like I can't like just because it's popular, this is why when you popularize like stuff on the internet and everybody becomes, a witch and it's all on TikTok and stuff like that. Books are to follow and da 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 da. It becomes corny. It becomes too corny. And sometimes you don't want to be associated with stuff that corny because that's not how it really is. A lot of these people don't know that the occult, witchcraft, and spiritualism is not all about you know you know witchy schools and you know um, putting herbs in a jar with some music playing in the background, and it's not about an aesthetic, but it's about how you think and how you interpret life and how you can change it and how you can create what you want. And if you allow other people to influence you or, you know, make you feel a certain way, then that's when it could kind of start changing for the better or for worse. So it's not about all the aesthetics and the music and you know, the tools and things like that. It's about how you think. And I think a lot of I think a lot of it is literally becoming cosplay and aesthetics versus what it really takes to create the life that you want or to create a magical life. So it's kind of cute. It's kind of cutesy now, but the funny thing is that you can get like aesthetics can get you really good views and a lot of people interested in something. But if you don't do the work, if you don't read, if you don't get the knowledge, and you just are for the aesthetic, that's fine because it's a cute aesthetic. But at the same time, it also helps people want to read more, want to get into the knowledge. So it is a way for people to, learn about something, but not everyone who is, you know, gravitating towards the aesthetic is going to stay there. It's not going to be, what they end up as. This could be a phase for many people, but for some, they're going to find their path and something that speaks to them. So I think it's all fine, but I don't feel that, just because you are an aesthetic of something does not mean you have the knowledge of what it is to literally, know symbolism, know how frequencies work, know how magic works, and things like that. Uh-huh. Yeah, I think all humans literally have the power to change things if they were taught how, or if they study and vibrate on a certain frequency, they can definitely do so. Hmm. But to help bring in a lot of people to like new paths or new way of thinking. I think aesthetics are good. I'm actually creating a mystery box. It's going to be called the Coven Mystery Box, and it's going to have some stuff in there that has cute aesthetics and things like that for the season that's coming up. It's mostly gonna be, fun stuff, glam stuff. I might do one that has, other types of stuff if you're, like, not into the glam. I might have 2 types of mystery boxes, a glam one and then just one for, learning and whatnot, aesthetics and learning. So that is all the books that I'll be reading. And if I get through them, I might have some more because I have a lot of. Uh, I've noticed that if I stay off my phone, if I'm not always on social media and looking through my phone or watching videos on my phone, I have so much time to read that I can literally get through all these books within like a month or two. Maybe not this thick Sherlock one. Maybe this is just going to be like I'll read a few stories here and there. But this is just more for pleasure and like sit this on my nightstand and read a few pages before bed. But the other books I'll keep with me. I have like a little tote bag that I carry everywhere. So when I'm waiting, I have like books to read or a book to read. And like if you go to a restaurant, you got to wait on your food, read a book. If you're waiting somewhere, like in line, pick up your kids, you can read a book. If you are at home and someone's watching TV and you don't have anything to do because you don't like their show, you go in your room and read a book. Yeah, so if you just want to go outside and sit in your backyard and enjoy the autumn weather, read a book. If you don't want the TV or the loud noise on, you put on some ambiance music or like an ambiance video on your TV and, get your little book, sit on your couch and read or whatever. Or read to your animals if you have animals. If you have children, read to your children. And if they're not interested in what you're reading, then read to your animals. hmm You said you think we're all gods and goddesses in Earth realm, and we have to create our own world and train it. It sounds good to me. I mean, I think a lot of people will call that blasphemous because of religion, but that's what it seems to all point to. So, even in religion, it all points to that anyway. And I do feel like religion was created for people to follow because someone wanted to control them as a group. And so that's why you have so many wars that are surrounded by religion because it's another way to take over a land. And so I don't feel that religion for me goes with spirituality or knowledge. It's just to me a way to convey some information symbolically or in code, and it's not to be taken literally. And I also feel that if someone has to wield religion over a group of people in order to control them, it's because um, they do seek the control, and that's why I will never be religious ever. um, what do I think about people who are addicted to tarot? Um, if you are addicted to tarot and you learn how to read your own cards, I think that's fine. But I wouldn't depend on it. If you just like the artwork on tarot cards, if you're a collector, that's a different story. But if you are addicted to getting readings and whatnot, then perhaps you need to take some time off of that and learn how to trust your own instinct. Because I think the more we use it and the more we listen to ourselves and trust ourselves, the easier life gets. But yeah, being addicted to getting tarot readings is not being able to trust yourself. You said you had to find yourself after religion. Religion is like grammar school, and spirituality is college. hmm Religion is instructions. hmm I was watching those little reels on Instagram, and I forgot who it was, but it was someone who had worked with Kanye West, and they said they were interviewing him, and they were like, "What did you learn while working with Kanye West? Like, what is the one takeaway that you learned when working with Kanye West?" And the guy says, not to follow rules, not to go by, not to follow any rules, but do something totally different and do what you want. And I thought that was kind of profound because you have so many people that make a list, that make books and put all these rules in it and have a certain way of doing things when, you know, it's already been done before. And so when there are no, like, when you don't follow rules, it's not that you're breaking the rules, it's just that you're not following them. You know what I mean? There's a difference between breaking the rules and following the rules and not following the rules. There's that very gray area of not following rules. And I feel like a lot of people don't realize that's where the creative part is. That's where new things grow and begin, and new concepts begin, or new ideas begin. And it's not about following rules because those rules were already created for someone and by someone, and they've already been followed, and everything that those rules have produced is already done. So new ideas come from creating new ways of thinking, and sometimes that requires not following rules. Okay. Mhm. What what would you advise someone scared of their shadow side dark energy? Learn more and more about it until it's like your best friend. Mhm. Spiritual knowledge and practice helps see truth. Yes. Yeah, learn whatever you're afraid of, learn more and more about it until it's like your best friend or your most, you know, um, admired subject. You said we have to follow some rules. Yeah, the basic rules to keep you alive, basically. But like other rules are that are more, suggestions. A lot of people take those as, set in stone and they won't, you know, try something different. But the rules to keep you alive are good rules. I definitely recommend the rules that keep us safe and that keeps us alive. But those rules that are more of suggestions, they can have those. you know. Okay. And I think a lot of people, yeah, I think a lot of people do need rules in religion if they aren't disciplined or if they don't know what to do or if they don't think for themselves and they just want something to follow and be fulfilled with and they don't feel like searching or doing their own research. I feel like a lot of times religion is just the easiest, fastest way to go just to check that, box off that you've taken care of your spiritual side of the, you know, of yourself. And sometimes I feel like sometimes religion is lazy because all the information that you're supposed to learn is already there. You don't really have to explore and do new things. You just accept, move on, don't doubt, and have blind faith. And to me, that's kind of just like accepting whatever without questioning it and not really fulfilling. hmm Do I still follow universal laws? There's always loopholes. So with any law, there's always a loophole. So to blindly follow any law is not really even to follow it because there's too many loopholes. You get it? So you're not really following any laws, you're just observing them and you understand what they mean. But when you're faced with a certain situation, sometimes those laws can have loopholes and you can use those loopholes if you don't want to abide by that law. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, spiritual alchemy. Um, if you know how to find the loopholes, if you know what to do, how to think, how to vibrate, then you can do what you pretty much feel like doing. Otherwise, if you don't feel like thinking that hard or finding those loopholes, then following universal law is probably easy. But if you want to, you can find a loophole. You just have to be creative. That's why I'm saying think outside of the box. Don't follow the rules that are just mere suggestions, but think, because too many rules upon you stops you from thinking, stops your brain from doing the most. You said, "Do I believe some people are not meant to be witches?" It doesn't matter what I believe. I feel that if you want to be something, be it. If you don't. Nobody can stop you if you want to be something, and but yourself. So I feel like whoever wants to be what they want to be, that's what they want to be. And I don't even believe in labels. So call yourself whatever you need to call yourself at the given moment, and then call yourself something else when you need to be something else. That's why a lot of times people get stuck in a name, in a concept, in a genre, in a way of being, and then they try to say, well, I don't think this person is meant to be that, but maybe they're meant to be whatever they choose to be at the time they're choosing to be it. So putting labels on people, saying that they're meant to be something or they're not meant to be something, that means you're fixing them in one particular place that they can't grow from. So I don't know. Be what you want when you want. That's how I say. Hmm. The challenge is to stay on track without falling into the mainstream. Exactly. Do I use mirror magic? I use whatever I need to use when I need to use it. Like whatever y'all are going to ask me, that's probably going to be my answer. Do I use this? I'd use whatever I need when I need it. That's like asking a mechanic, do they use a certain tool? If I need to use it, is in my toolbox? Sure. You know. So think of it like that. It's like a tool, a giant toolbox. You have all these options. You're gonna use it when you need it. If you want to. All right. If you choose to. Um, they probably just like the word witch. I get it. And it doesn't matter. Like I said, there's aesthetic witches now. There's a witch that just is aesthetic now. If you look up witch aesthetic, it's an aesthetic now. It means aesthetic means beauty. So if someone finds what witches wear look like and quote unquote supposed to look like, and how their house is supposed to look and how their decor is supposed to look, and they emulate that style, it becomes an aesthetic. So then you're transferring the word witch into an aesthetic or a form of beauty. And so it can start to have more meanings than it originally had in the first place. So maybe what witch means to one person is not the same as what it means to another. Okay, let's see. So yeah, I say when it comes to magic, witchcraft, and the occult, whenever you need to believe something, believe it, and when you don't need to believe it, don't believe it. Whenever you need to use something, it should be available. Whenever you don't need it, you can put it away. Whenever you need to learn something, it doesn't mean that you automatically believe it. It just means you need that knowledge, that specific knowledge right then and there to accomplish something that you're doing. And then after you've accomplished whatever it is you're doing, you no longer have to live under that belief system in which you got information on in order to accomplish whatever it is you needed to accomplish. It just means those are your tools. Those are your, like, it's like a toolbox, and you're a mechanic and you have all these tools. But there's a certain job that only requires 5 tools. And yes, you have your whole toolbox, but you're not going to use every tool. You're not going to pull out 20 tools to do a 5 tool job, right? So you take the tools out that you need, you use them on the job, you return them to the bag or the toolbox, and you close up the toolbox. And then when you have another job, You might require 20 tools, and then you might have to use all 20 tools. But then you're going to also return all those tools into the box and close it until the next time you need to work on something. Now, those tools in magic, quote unquote, would maybe represent ideas, beliefs, talismans, charms, potions, ingredients, and things like that. Occult symbolism, deities, all of the stuff that has to do with the occult and witchcraft and things like that. Just because you pulled out one of the tools that, let's say, represents a deity does not mean that you hang that tool on your wall and worship it or bow down to it. It means you use that tool, you took it out of the box. It is a tool that has certain things that you need for certain parts of this. And so then you take it and you put it back and then you close the box and you put it away. So this is the best way that I can explain my method of using these tools that we have, this knowledge that we have to create and build or to create and fix or whatever, any situation, and then put it back. Some of y'all be hanging these tools up, wearing it around y'all neck. You know what I'm saying? And that's perfectly fine. Being proud of certain things is perfectly fine. But when you realize what they really are, you're able to set them down, pick them up, set them down, pick them up at your own will. And you become the master of them, not the other way around. Okay. You said we can't be codependent with spiritual tools, techniques. It defeats the purpose. Correct. So I was comparing it to the material, like the tools could be knowledge. The tools could be a deity, the aspects of a deity. The tools could be a book that taught you something or a picture that made you vibrate on a certain frequency. So when I say tools in the material, you can also use the spiritual as an example of just thinking, imagination, frequencies, intention, and all that. Those are also our tools. So, aspects of a deity, characteristics of a certain deity, things like that are our tools. Right. And when we no longer need them or are using them, then we don't have to walk around under a belief system that have been associated with certain things. You said Superman and all the powers only came out when he needed them, not 24/7. Exactly. So a lot of people, they live their life as though they're always needing these tools or needing to use these tools, which is another reason why I made this video, because I wanted to show you guys that you can have a balance. You can read a spiritual book and you can read a fiction book. And a lot of times they're going to collide because a lot of times these writers who write fiction got their tools and their imagination from reading a lot of spiritual and magical and occult books, and they incorporated it in their stories or in their fiction to create more of a quote unquote realm or a world or a story with how all this stuff works and how it works as tools, and you can see it from a whole different perspective. So definitely a lot of times, like especially in the Sherlock books and things like that, you can see a lot of the occult and the conspiracy and a lot of the science and the alchemy show up in a lot of these books. And a lot of it checks out. If you know your alchemy, if you know your frequency, if you know all about a lot of stuff and you're reading fiction, you can appreciate the writers who took the time to, make sure that was correct. And especially also if you watch movies. But sometimes you'll see a movie or you'll read a book where none of that stuff is even close to what's real. And then, you can say, okay, well, they didn't do a very good job at that. But if you know both and you see the balance and you see how it can work in different perspectives, it gives you a lot more balance in your own life and how you're going to create using certain, knowledge that you have. Hmm. You said you've been reading spiritual fiction books. They are so good and hard for you to go back to nonfiction. That's why you just read them both at the same time. Because it's easy if you have this book in one room and you have this book in your car, you can read both at the same time. And you're not going to mix up the stories because this is not a story. So it's very easy. um he said, yes, the way out of the matrix imagination. You are a gin in a nation. A gin in a nation. Yeah, I feel like, the funny thing is a lot of people are saying the way out, the way in is the way out. And that brings me back to this book. I don't think this book is listed. It might be listed. It is listed. Existentialism. This is basically trying to prove existence. Do we exist? And when you say the way in or the way out, this book will just say just the way, baby. The way, just the way. There's no in or out. There's just the way. Yeah, jinns are genies if in the fictional story, right? It's just the way. That's it. The way wherever you want it to go. Period. Sprinkle, sprinkle. That's how I think. Like it's just the way that you want to go, whatever way you're choosing to go. Because think about this, like in certain stories, let's go to fictional stories. In certain stories, when someone enters into something and they get in there and they're trying to find their way out, do they ever return to the exact same place as they left? Is it the same when they go back? So if it is the way out, wouldn't you be going back to the exact same moment or place that you went in? Usually, these types of stories, when they go back, it's everything is totally different. So, where did they really go back, or did they really get out, or did they go somewhere else? All right. Your boyfriend has been telling you about black magic and jinns today, and he said people that do black magic will burn in hell. Thoughts? Well, Well, sorry. Hold on. Does your boyfriend blow out birthday candles? Because that's black magic. The computer is black magic. Does he use a computer? All right, then. So I guess he'll see all his friends there. Some people are just not well learned on what quote unquote black magic is because they didn't learn anything. So they can go around saying that people are going to burn in hell when the plasma literally is burning energy, frequency, electricity. So, and he literally probably watches a plasma screen. He literally probably has plasma in his blood. He literally probably blew out plasma on his birthday cake. So he literally is probably using black magic every single day of his entire life. But it makes him feel a certain way to say that about his status in the world. And so if that makes him feel good and as long as he's paying your bills, he can say whatever he wants. Sure. Pay his bills though. If he's not paying bills and he's walking around telling people they're gonna burn in hell, tell him he's gonna burn in hell for living with a woman in sin and not paying no bills. Have you ever heard of fornication? All right. That's how I feel about that. That TV is black magic too. Turn that TV off. All the phones are black magic. Turn it off. Unless he goes out and lives in the middle of nowhere with no electricity and no communication to the outside world besides a written hand, he's practicing black magic because technology is black magic. Tell him to read this book, Strange Frequencies. It will be linked at that link at the top with all the other books. All right. Okay. Tell him to go to Vegas on what? He might on a day that's 115 degrees. Okay. Yeah, anybody that starts talking that religious stuff, just their IQ just 100% drops for me. I'm like, you know what? I gotta go. If you take that as literal, I got to go. Bye. Something wrong with you. That's why I can't really deal with a lot of people anymore because like ignorance is not attractive. What should you do? Buy him some books, baby. Because if he only read one book, he's not that smart. Buy him some extra books. This is the extraordinary story of technological quest of the supernatural, an absorbing, comprehensive guide to the high-definition seance parlor of the modern world. This will basically tell you how all technology is black magic, and he will shed it up. Okay. You said you're not, and I'm not working. You're not working ATM either. No. Okay. Well, just give him that book. Buy it for him as a gift. And tell him it's only $5 in the bargain section at the bookstore. And I'm sure you can buy it used or whatnot. And when he blows out his next birthday candles after, the black magic part of the birthday celebration, give him this book. You say he's a provider, but in your culture, we have 2 wedding days. One is paid for by the bride's family, and the other is paid for by all the grooms. My dad is not in my life anymore, and my family can't afford it. Well, I guess you better just have one wedding. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Just change dresses. Just wear 2 dresses. It'll look like 2 weddings in the picture. Okay? Get you a dress. Just buy you another dress. Change your lipstick, and you in a whole wedding. And it's not your fault he got on the same outfit. All right. Does that help? You're welcome. Sprinkle, sprinkle. I have seen women on stage in concerts change their whole wig, their whole outfit, and their nails for the next song. Okay, you go ahead. You can have 2 weddings. It'll look like 2 weddings on photos anyway. He said I mentioned a vampire book in my other. Yeah, I still got that one over here somewhere. Let me see. It reads like the old days because it's written in the 20s. And it's a lot of like Latin. There's a lot of Latin in there, but they do translate the Latin after they say it. It's called Vampire, The Vampire, His Kith and Kin. Goes into a lot of different cultures about the vampire aspect. And just from reading this book, and then I watched the movie Dracula, and then I watched a lot of other movies. To me, it seems like the Dracula story, a lot of these vampire movies tend to follow the same storyline as quote unquote like the story of Jesus book in the Bible. And so like the drinking of the blood, the betrayal, the hidden romance, and all of the maker of, the vampire, the forsaking God aspect, the cross, and all this kind of stuff. It kind of goes back to the biblical days. So for me, I mean, especially on the Bram Stoker, Francis Ford Coppola edition, the movie, not the edition, but the movie, they even made the Dracula character and even the Vlad does look like a little bit like a Jesus character with the long hair and the mustache. How he was depicted in the Last Supper and stuff like that. So drinking blood and stuff, talking about this is my blood, drinking and have eternal life. That sounds like a vampire to me. Speaking of vampires, if you like this vial of blood looking lipstick, this is also on my Level Up Cosmetics store. So you can have your vampire vial of lipstick, and if you just like vampires. But yeah, I think a lot of the stories in the Bible are actually the stories that are retold in horror stories as well as vampire stories. I think a lot of religion has their version of the vampire or angels or I'm trying to get this link or any type of supernatural creature. And the blood does definitely have plasma in it. And okay, here's my lipstick. Y'all want it. The blood definitely does have, life force in it. And so I would definitely say that a lot of the books, a lot of the monsters, a lot of the stories in the Bible literally will just basically translate into frequencies. Plasma, the fourth state of matter in plasma is like lightning, um, static electricity, the waves that flow through the air that gives us, the internet, cellular data, and all that kind of stuff. These are just dimensions of energy that we are absorbing, learning. Algorithms can pick up on them. We as humans, our brains can pick up on these waves, and also our mobile devices, our phones, our computers, and all that kind of stuff. So definitely um, picking up on strange frequencies. You said aurora, corona. Uh-huh. They are all metaphors. It's for anyone to literally believe something. It's because they were too lazy to learn symbolism and metaphor. That's why you see a lot of educated people who probably studied a lot of the liberal arts, which is like different languages, Latin, mythology, literature, and things like that. They're more able to interpret these symbols when they go back and read a religious text. They're able to see more than someone who were to read a religious text as a nonfiction book or a book with no symbolism in it, but just fact. A lot of people were told religion is true, that it is the way it is, and you better believe it or else you're going to go to hell. So, literally, what these people do is they feel like if they don't believe everything 100% as fact, they're going to go to hell. So, they start believing the impossible. They start believing stuff that only happens like on the movies. And so, they will defend a metaphor and not even know the meaning of it. And so that's kind of what gets me like, learn something else, learn some symbolism, learn some metaphor, and like see how these stories have already been written before the Bible somewhere else, and do your research and become a student versus a know-it-all that's only read one book. So that's how I feel about when people don't know enough to preach truth, because truth is relevant and it's only a perception, and not everyone's truth is going to be the same as the next person's truth, you know. Because think about this, one person's version of truth is that the Bible is literal, and another person's version of truth is that the Bible is metaphor. So there's a lot of gray area there. So neither are the truth, but at the same time, no one's going to believe the other unless they do the research on their own. and they might come to a whole different conclusion, and a new truth could be born out of those two quote unquote perspectives or truths. Mhm. You said your new book, my next book should be called Unveiling the Truth About Religion and Spirituality. I don't need that kind of smoke, baby. People have religion for a reason, and I believe that. I believe people have religion for a reason. Like, and it's sad, but it is true. Like, I do believe that religion is not created for a certain group or class of people. Or, anybody can graduate out of religion, but I feel like any group or class of people who deem that brainwashing anyone from you know a very youthful age, enforcing beliefs on someone before they even know how to read or write or determine things for themselves is not something that I would like to be a part of. Hmm. And when you have people that cray cray, you don't really want to be a target of cray cray. They they'll reveal themselves the more they talk. So you don't really have to do anything. You can just be. You can give your opinion. You can give your perspective. You don't have to down anybody in a book, but you don't have to agree to it either. And I would never write a book downing religion. I would just say I prefer to come to my own conclusions based on the knowledge that I have gathered on my own. Mhm. Now, the other part of me says if you can use religion for your gain or to get a point across or to shut someone up who is religion, you can use their own religion against them and for your own good because they believe it. So, therefore, if they are trying to control others with religion, then that means you can use their own religion to control them because a lot of that religion is definitely has ways to contradict itself. So if you can use their own religion against them, then you see exactly why they want to wield it because you can wield it back the same way. So it's almost a system of magic that you can actually control because you're not controlled by it. You don't believe in it, so therefore it's not real to you. Therefore, you can wield it as something that does not have the consequence that the other person trying to wield the religion believes, you know, has consequence. It's very different. You said, teach you how to do that. How do I use religion to level up? Just go to the computer, go to Google, and Google whatever biblical text on why a man should do A, B, C, and D, like why a man should provide for a woman. And all the gold digging passages of the Bible will come up. And you can use that for your gain. The Bible said, okay, since he's so controlled by it, and then now you know how to do it. Control him. Get that Bible verse about how he got to pay these bills. So you said, do bad things manifest as well if we think of them unconsciously? I feel that if you don't see anything bad happening in your life, you're not manifesting it. Like, I don't feel like if something bad happens that I manifest it. I don't see anything as good or bad. I just see something as did I want this or did I not want this? I think what I want vibrates higher than what I don't want. So it's always going to end up being what you want. If what you want vibrates higher, if you truly want it. So for example, if you think about something negative, you don't want it, right? But then if you right after think of something that you really want or that you're grateful for or thankful for, that frequency is higher. And so therefore it's going to definitely manifest over the other. You know what I'm saying? So if you are a negative thinker by nature, then always have something that makes you vibrate higher and think about that. Replace that thought. Mhm. Mhm. Remaining, yeah, you say you like how I remain neutral. I think remaining neutral is a way to show how everything can be used in your favor. Because if you take a side, if it's good or evil, black or white, villain or hero, you're always going to be at a constant battle. Electron, proton. You're always going to be in a constant battle. You know, you're always going to be in a constant battle. It's always going to be some stuff you have to do. But if you remain neutral and you're like, I can use both. I can attach myself to both. I can see the perspective here and there, and I can make something totally new. Or I could, I have no dog in that fight. You know, um, then I think it's smart because so many people have been conditioned by religion, by morals created by someone else before you were even born, and given to you, and they told you what was, and a lot of people just accepted it instead of making their own choice and their own decision and creating their own set of morals depending on how you feel about something. Now I do believe that to keep us safe and things in lawful order, there's rules, but I also believe that a lot of those rules that aren't so bent on keeping us safe can also, have loopholes, but I do believe in the rules that do keep us safe. I don't believe in the rules that keep you from thinking. Okay? That's how I see. What you want more is what's going to manifest. And I wouldn't even say the word want. I would say what makes you vibrate the highest is what's going to manifest. Mhm. So, so if you like if something makes you feel extra good, it's gonna outdo any vibration that you weren't even wanting in the first place. Mhm. And a lot of people come from religious backgrounds, religious families, and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes that stuff has to die out with them. Okay, a lot of people aren't going to change how they believe things because they've been brainwashed, and to learn something new takes a lot of courage, and a lot of people definitely aren't that brave to unlearn and learn something new. So they're just going to take that with them, and it's okay. You know, that doesn't mean that you have to accept it or go by it. It just, yeah, okay. You don't have to change people's mind. That's up to them. This is why in spirituality, you don't have people trying to convert you out of religion. They don't care. They have something that you don't. They have a lot that religious people don't. They don't have to convert you to feel like they're going to heaven or that they're saving your soul or something like that because they know more than rules that were forced upon them. They're free, so they're not bound by these types of ideas, so therefore they're not threats to those people. um it would be like telling a religious person that, um let's just say, okay, because technology is definitely a part of all of this, but it would be like telling someone in the modern day that electricity is evil or that something they use on a daily basis is going to make them go to hell. They're going to just laugh and be like, you just, something wrong with you. You need to learn more. Here's a book. So a lot of times when religious people get into the habit of trying to convert people and tell them that they're going to hell, a lot of, spiritual people who are well versed and well read are going to look at you like your IQ has just dropped 100 points. So if you are religion, if you're trying to come out of religion, I would definitely stay away from telling people or trying to condemn people because it just makes you look dumb and people don't even want to bother with you anymore. It's like, no, I can't. And you may not even be dumb. You may just be brainwashed to a certain degree and are just standing up for what you were taught to stand up for. It has nothing to do with your IQ literally, but that's just how it makes some people feel and they don't want to deal with you after that. So it's best to not condemn people when it's almost the equivalent of saying, a light bulb is evil. All right. Can I list all the books? I have listed so many books in that link at the top. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Just go through all of that. That link will take you to my spiritual section on Amazon, and you will find so much stuff there. Books, tools, fiction, nonfiction, just everything that I have or I have suggested. hmm There's definitely a sense of ignorance attached to certain religious ideas. There is. And that's why I don't delve in them unless I'm decoding or using them as metaphor or using them to my advantage. Because imagine if someone went back a long time ago and took a book of Greek myths and said, "You're going to Hades if you don't bow down to Zeus or whatever." People gonna look at you crazy. What Zeus? What the heck is a Hades? If they're same thing. hmm So if you're a religious person, remember how many religions there have been in the past, and now how many of them are quote unquote dead religions or myths, mythological, you know, literature and stuff like that. Now that's how it's going to be in the future with the religions that we cling to today. Okay. And a lot of people, when they have a spiritual awakening or when they learn something or when they start fearing a lot of things and they have come out of religion, they tend to run back to it out of habit. But I say if you get to that point, you've made it to a point where now you can literally never have to return to religion if you keep going and learning more. But a lot of people are lazy and afraid and they have a lot of fear and they allow fear to rule them. And so they run back to it. I say the more you fear, the more you should be learning. Yes, the power is within. Without, the power just is. That's how I think about it. The power just is. It doesn't matter if it's within or without. It just is. Because if you're so worried about what's within and what's without, then that's another battle. It just is, and you can use it when you need it. And there you go. And like a lot of that comes from thinking existentially. It's like, why try to put labels on it? Why try to say it's this or that? Just say it is. It's a paradox, baby. Use it. Use it when you need it. It's like air. You're sitting here. Are you inhaling or exhaling? Or are you breathing? Okay. I'm breathing. Okay. It's both. It doesn't matter. You said perfect example. Okay. I'm an exhalist. I'm an inhalist. I'm just a breather. Y'all do what y'all want. Okay, the exhalist ain't gonna make it. The inhaler gonna pass out, but guess what? I'm gonna be here, laughing at both of them. That's how you have to do. You participated in religious, and you wholeheartedly followed it and got no results. I felt like I was a waste of time, and it does not work. Of course not. You might as well have followed Santa Claus. At least you would have got some toys from somebody, though. Somebody had to make you believe by giving you some toys. I mean, if you're gonna follow somebody, you might as well follow Santa Claus. All right. At least you would. If you was bad, you at least got some coal. If you was good, you would have got some good stuff. You would have got something. You would have to. All right. You said religion destroyed your life. I'm so sorry. Well, that's why we have all these other books to read and to learn from so that we don't have to depend on religious books anymore for our spiritual needs to be fulfilled, you know, which is a good thing. Let me read some of these comments. I might have missed. How should you, okay, Christy, I don't know if you're still here. She says, how should she go about telling her boyfriend that you practice magic? He has seen it all when growing up in Puerto Rico and told me his grandma was a bruja and worshiped the devil. He is a Christian now. Um, well, you're gonna have to really break it down. Like saying, God says to love everyone, and if God created the devil and your grandma loved the devil, she was just doing what God told her to do. Okay, sprinkle, sprinkle. Because they love your enemy. Okay, then. She was just doing what she was told. You know, that's how I'm feeling about it. Like it's religion is so silly. If God says love your enemy, if God says love everyone, if God created this and He created good and evil, and He tells you to pick a side, either way, you're gonna find He created both. It's like you're gonna play chess and you say, okay, pick which pieces, what color you want to be on the chessboard. you know. So to me, I like religion. To me, is to control people. So I'm like, if in that religion God made Satan or the devil good and evil and did this and that, and your grandma decided to love one of God's creations, is she wrong for that? All right. Well, I don't think so. All right. It does make sense to me. Sometimes the bad things or things we think are bad are there to help us on your next level. I left religion too, but it helped me to appreciate spiritual things on a less codependent level. Yeah. Like sometimes bad things are just obstacles that you are finding a solution for with your new thinking. So by being a witch and not telling your boyfriend, there's how many TV shows where the girl's a witch and her boyfriend don't know? Y'all watch that show together and then confess. Sabrina the Teenage Witch is one of them. I think it's called Adventures of Sabrina on Netflix. That one. There you go. Y'all watch that. Spooky season is coming up, so you have a perfect excuse. How do I make money? Just do what you love. I have a whole book called How to Do What You Love. As a 20, you said you're 22. You don't want to work under anyone. Well, sometimes you got to take a shortcut. But it's easier these days than it was back in the old days when I was 22. It's easier to take a shortcut these days because y'all have the internet. Y'all could pretty much start an online business from your closet. You know, like they have Poshmark and all them places to resell your clothes and your items and your household items for profit. I mean, y'all have no excuse to be broke. On my other channel, I say, just go get you a man that really likes you and he gonna provide for you. Use that money to start you a business online or whatnot and take it from there. But honestly, y'all have it too easy these days. Like, yeah, if I were 22 in the era of online businesses, I would be probably a multi-millionaire by now. So you said Poshmark doesn't work in the UK. Well, I'm sure they have another type of store similar to Poshmark. So I don't know. Uh-huh. Start small, grow your business. That's the best thing I can tell you. If you try to do too much too quick, it's not, you're going to get, you're going to be like, well, boy, overwhelmed. And plus, you're young and you need to grow and learn how to, create your business and grow it slowly. But if you can have some help, like if you got somebody paying your bills when you don't have to work and you can fully concentrate on growing your business or living, experiencing life and figuring out what you want to do, then, that's a luxury. And maybe you can manifest that. That's how I feel. Like sometimes you just need to manifest your shortcut or your break. Any business books I recommend? Yes, my book, baby. How to Do What You Love. Scooby. Yeah, my ringtone is Scooby. Yes, all my books. Let me see. I'll find you one of my books. Mhm. All my books. All right. So here's all the. Hold on. It's not all my books. Here we go. This book will help you find a way to start a business with not a lot of money. And anyone can do it who has a bank account. Okay, that book is pretty good. It's probably going to be a book that will get you started on the first business, no matter how small it is. You're not going to be able to retire or quit your day job unless you have a sponsor, but it will get you to where you can replace your day job or replace your sponsor with your own money eventually. But everything that's worth having or that's going to be valuable is not going to start off like major. You're going to have to work and start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't try to make things seem like it's going to be super easy because um, there are shortcuts, there are ways to manifest, and there are ways to create a business. You're not going to get rich overnight. I'm just going to tell you that unless you get married. Unless you find a man who got money and get married. That's the fastest way to get rich in the world is to marry into the money. Okay. Otherwise, you're going to have to put in the work on your business, have a good idea. If you can get rich fast, but not as fast as you could if you married. you're going to have to put in work. You're going to have to put some type of energy forward to get it back. Okay. Why did I stop doing tarot readings? Because people were asking dumb questions and I was getting tired. Like literally. People ask the dumbest questions and they don't know how tarot worked. And they were using tarot as an excuse to not do what they were supposed to be doing in life, like having responsibility. So instead of furthering their irresponsibility, I just gave them the truth. It told them, like, sometimes I would tell people, don't come back to me for another reading until you have done what I asked you to do, because you don't need a tarot reading, you need priorities. And so I had to stop because people were using things as an excuse as to not take responsibility for their lives. And it was getting on my nerves. And so when something is no longer fulfilling or your passion, and if you don't feel like you're helping someone anymore by, allowing them to fester in their irresponsibility, maybe you should not contribute to it anymore. So I stopped doing tarot because I think a lot of people were using it as an excuse as to not have priorities or responsibility. And not everyone, just some people. And it was the people that frequented, getting tarot readings that just didn't want to hear that they had bad priorities. I have a balance. I have 2 channels. Actually, I have more, but I have one that's, that's going to tell you how it is. And if you are using tarot, magic, people putting curses on you as an excuse as to why you can't be a functioning, member of society and keep your priorities in the correct order, to me, it becomes an excuse more than, something that's helpful for someone. You said they want to hear what they want to hear. Exactly. I started lying after a second. Like this, some of these people were like, you know what? The tarot card says you need to get a job. The tarot card says you need to keep a job. The tarot card says you need to pay your bills on time. The tarot card says you need to stop blaming other people for your irresponsibility. The tarot card says there is no curse on you. Eventually, if you say the tarot card says something, they might start believing it. Sometimes that's what you just got to do. The tarot card said, stop buying designer stuff when there's eviction notices on your door. So I had to stop because I was getting to the point where I was calling people stupid. And I never want to be a reader that will call someone stupid. And so I don't like ignorance. So I stopped reading tarot cards. It had nothing to do with the cards themselves or the connection or the message. It just had to do with the people. So yeah, I like the spiritual aspect of tarot, but not the other aspect of tarot. So I only read for myself, or if someone's interested in, around me, like, for fun, yes, but I don't do it anymore for business because people will literally just mess up their entire life by trying to blame stuff on other stuff and not taking responsibility for themselves. It's like you get off the phone and you're like, I gotta stop reading cards because I'm sitting over here calling people stupid. I'm no longer supposed to read cards. Okay, I'm done. I can't no more. But at least I was honest with y'all. I had to stop because y'all was getting on my nerves. Not y'all, but some of these people were getting on my nerves, and I was like, that's why I wrote that book, How to Do What You Love, How to Get Paid. I also have books on, not being broke, not being with broke people. A lot of these people are that have problems in their lives is because of the decisions and the choices that they make. It has nothing to do with being cursed or has nothing to do with making a wrong decision based on a tarot reading. It has, maybe you shouldn't be with that dusty dude. You know, sometimes the cards, are not the answer. Sometimes you just need to look at your own life and make some better choices. So, and a lot of the people I suggested to go to my other channel because they were having relationship issues with broke men. I'm like, you need to pick a struggle. You're gonna have relationship issues. You're gonna be crying, and he ain't got no money. You need to go to my other channel. The tarot card says find somebody with money. Okay, get out. So I would definitely recommend them my other channel if they were having relationship issues and they kept returning for tarot readings for that. Because I don't think they were ignorant. I think that they didn't know any better. And so I would send them to my other channel. Okay. And maybe the people that were making bad decisions financially, if I had a financial advice channel, I could have sent them there, but I didn't. So I don't know. Some people only want to listen to what they want and only want good information. Yeah, I gotta go in a few minutes. That's true. That's why you have okay, if you ever get a tarot reader and everything they just told you is something that you want to hear, you didn't get a real reading. Okay. You didn't get a real reading, child. Because unless it's confirmation, like if I were to ever do a reading, if I were to ever get a reading, I wouldn't even ask questions. I would just let the cards speak. I wouldn't even ask no questions. I would let the cards tell me exactly what they needed to tell me. I wouldn't ask any questions based on any person, any situation, or anything. If it comes out in the cards, then that's what it is. I think that's the best way to do a reading or get a reading. If you go in with a bunch of questions or specific questions about specific people, I mean, sometimes it's best to just not ask any questions and see what the cards have to say to you. hmm You seen one of my videos, but you said if you're cursed or affected by black magic, your vibing is low. Exactly. See, I don't believe in any of that. Um, I think if you here's the thing: if you were here earlier, whatever you believe in, that's how your life is going to turn. That's why I say beliefs are like tools, and you keep them in a toolbox. And when you need them, take them out. And when you're finished and you don't need them, put them back up. If you walk around with tools in your hand, looking for ways to use them, you're going to look like you have weapons in your hands. People are going to be afraid of you. They're going to start, vibing towards you differently because you are walking around with hammers and wrenches in your hand. Put the tools away and live. So what I'm saying is if you walk around every day believing in curses, you are believing in curses. Therefore, you are within a curse if you are believing in it because you're in it. You see? If you believe in what? Black magic that has effect on you, then you're believing inside of it. That means you are living inside of it, and so therefore it's going to affect you. But if you only use it when you need it and you don't believe in it as you walk around every day, then it's not going to affect you the same way it's going to affect someone who lives and breathes it. You know what I'm saying? Learn how to put stuff down and pick it up like a book. If you have a book and you're just reading it, you didn't fall into the story. You don't live in this book. You read it, close it, put it down, and go do your other stuff. Go to the grocery store, buy your food. And then when you get a little break, you get back in it and read it some more. You learn something. You put it down, you finished it. You don't mention or think about the book until someone mentions something that you learned in that book in a conversation, then you bring it up. But you don't walk around believing in a book. And so you're not going to believe in certain things. And it's not going to affect you the same way as it would someone who walks around believing in something 24/7. So that's how I feel about beliefs. If you believe that you're cursed, it's because you believe in curses. Um, and and a lot of people are going to say, well, how do you perform a curse but don't believe in them? It's two totally different things. The same way as someone can sell a car and not drive the car. The same way that someone can sell you some crap that they don't even use and still get paid from it. You know what I'm saying? So the same way. The same way someone can get on QVC or Home Shopping Network and tell you this is the best bag I ever had. And then after they stop rolling and filming, they throw that bag on the ground and go pick up their other bag that they really like and walk out the same way. So you have to think about it like that. Sometimes people don't realize that when you read something, you don't have to believe in it 24/7. It is a concept, a concept. When you believe in something, it's only used in that moment. And then when you're done with it, put it away. Don't walk in it. You know what I'm saying? You know that saying in the Bible, be in the world, but not of it. It's the same thing. Walk in your 3D, but don't become it because you're not that. You are separate. That way you are in control. So don't do that. You learn how to transmute the bad energy from me because I believe no curse can affect my blessing and life or thinking. Thanks, pretty lady. Star Gamers, sprinkle, sprinkle. Well, I'm so glad that I helped you because you know why? Okay, I'm trying to read this over. Okay. I'm glad that I helped everybody, but I'm glad that I helped you because I feel like a lot of people don't realize that they have all that power and they just walk as a victim when they could be walking as a magician. Literally. You have it all. We have it all. Do I believe in determinism or free will? How can I be really free of making independent decisions when our subconscious minds are influenced by external factors? Can we really be free? Learn symbolism because if your subconscious mind is picking up on stuff and you can interpret it simultaneously at the same time, this is the book, The Secret Languages of Signs. And it's going to be linked at that link at the top. If you are able to interpret things as they come to you, then they're not subliminal or subconscious anymore. You know what they're doing. Like, you know what you're seeing. You're interpreting it so it doesn't affect you the same way. Then it becomes a choice. Then it becomes free will. That's why when you learn certain things like occult symbolism, knowledge, and stuff like that, it doesn't affect you the same as it does someone who doesn't know what they're looking at. So, like, for example, if someone is telling you something and they're using specific words that would subliminally sink into someone else's head and make them perform a certain task or give in or be more susceptible to what someone is suggesting, that might work. But if you know like code words for certain things and the person says the same thing to you and the suggestion may not work because you pick up on what they're trying to tell you and you kind of say, okay, well, they're a little sus with the choice of words that they used. It's not going to work on me. So it's almost like two languages. It's kind of like having two languages. And when people use code words in certain places, it's to trigger the subconscious or the subliminal in certain people's minds. When if you know these types of code words and how they're being used, you're able to not be prone to that suggestion. You know what I'm saying? So learn how people use certain words. There's a book called Word Magic, and it's in that list too. Learn how people use certain words to try to use the power of suggestion. Like, for example, I'll give you a good example. The name of a state can also represent something symbolically. So instead of saying what it represents symbolically, they can say the name of the state, and your mind will automatically decode it as what it means symbolically. So let's say the state Virginia. If someone says, "Oh, I'm going to have, you know, I'm going to go to this place in Virginia and next week and da 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 da," right? No one would pick up on that. But depending on what the person was talking about and what they were suggesting and the situation that they were in, if they were to say this to a certain person, Virginia could mean Virgo, it could mean virgin, it could mean vagina. So depending on the situation that the conversation is being had is what is trying to be suggested. So if you're picking up on that, you can laugh and say, well, good luck on your trip. I'm going to be right here. You know what I'm saying? It could totally like dismiss any plans that someone may have had to get into your pants, if you see what I'm saying. So a lot of people, like especially hypnotists, they use these kind of suggestive words to kind of give you and persuade you into a different set of thoughts subliminally. So if you know how to pick up on these code words, if you know how to pick up on certain words being replaced for other words, then you're not going to fall victim to a lot of those suggestions. You're just going to laugh and be like rolling of the eyes. So make sure you understand that sometimes people that are very well versed in hypnosis or psychology or using certain code words to trigger your subliminal or your subconscious. They may read a lot of books on the power of suggestion and things like that. They may choose to use certain words or say certain things or blurt out certain weird phrases that don't have anything to do with the conversation you're having because they're trying to fit it in somehow. So you have to make sure that you're paying close attention to how people think and how people speak to you. Being very observant and aware will definitely help you not to, fall for that. Mm-hmm. I believe, like, if you want to compare that to something, okay, y'all know the Harry Potter books and the movies when he spoke parcel language, like the snake language or whatever, and he knew what the snake was saying, but nobody else did. It's just like that, except it's about certain words that sink into the subliminal mind that are supposed to suggest things to you. But how they used it in fiction, how they used that occult in fiction, that occult knowledge of fiction was translated into speaking the snake language or whatever, parcel tongue or whatever. So it's just kind of like that. All right, y'all, I gotta go. I hope, what to think about this recent trend of law of assumption. I think you covered it years ago discussing the hermetic law of mentalism. I think we are creators of our own thoughts. And whatever assumption someone has, another person has a different one. So whichever one you're most comfortable with, that creates the life that you desire and is working for you, then by all means, do what you want. You know what I'm saying? If it's not harming anyone, if it's not hurting anyone, who cares? Assume what you must. If it gives you that extra whatever you need to get stuff done, who cares? That's magic. Just like someone looked up and assumed that, back in the ancient days, they assumed that the stars in the sky were shapes. Now we have astrology. And some people don't even believe in that because they don't believe that whatever those people in the old days, in the ancient days, assumed was what their idea was of something else. So assumption can take you a lot of places. It can be a multi-billion-dollar industry for anyone. So assume what you want as long as it's working for you. That's how I say. Assume what you want, because if it works for you, then your assumption was correct for you. Okay? And that's how you stay neutral. Rather than always looking for right or wrong, look for what works. Okay? Because we are in a world of creation, not in a world of right or wrong. We're not supposed to be we're not on this planet to decide what's right or wrong. We're on this planet to create and to experience. So if you're in a constant battle of what's right or what's wrong, or what you should be afraid of and what you should know is the truth, then you're doing it wrong. All right. So I'll see y'all on the next one.